Welcome to the first virtual console review for this series. We're sticking with the Bs for now and on to Bomberman 93 for the TurboGraphx 16. This game, in my experience, is very multiplayer focused, but it does feature a single player story. There's this evil Bomberman who's doing evil Bomberman things, and you have to travel through the various worlds and blow up bad guys on the map, being strategic with how you lay bombs to try and trap them. But to be honest, I'm only going to briefly mention that, pretty much just what I said, because I've only played the single player very briefly. I'm recounting my experience with this game, and my experience is all in the multiplayer. So that's what I'm going to talk about. I had a rivalry over this game with a friend at uni. I mean, none of us had ever owned this game growing up or even played it, but that doesn't mean we never played Bomberman. Problem was, he grew up playing a Bomberman on the Super Nintendo, whereas I grew up playing Bomberman on the Mega Drive. So it's like we had a console wars that carried over to this game. Even though I never owned a Mega Drive, but that was just the version I played at a friend's house. But anyway, we're going to talk about this game now. This is a very fun and addictive multiplayer game. Your objective is to blow up all the opposition. Controls are very simple. Just press the A button to move a bomb, use the D-pad to move away. When you start, you can only lay one bomb at a time and the flames are tiny, but picking up a bomb power-up lets you lay more bombs at a time. So the more bomb power-ups you pick up, the more bombs you can lay at any one time. The flame power-up makes your flame longer. The more you pick up, the longer your flame will be. These two power-ups are essential for victory. It makes you a much more devastating force to be reckoned with, but be careful because your own bombs can kill you. So to help stop you getting trapped, there's this boot power-up that lets you kick bombs out the way. You also get a multi-bomb which lets you lay a row of bombs at once. And there's this skull which affects you in certain ways, be it speed up, slow down, whether you can't lay bombs, have tiny flames, or it gives you opposite controls. Basically you want to avoid them. If you do get infected them, you flash. And if you touch someone, they get infected too, but it's only temporary, thankfully. You can play 5-player matches in this, even if you have only 2 players, because the computer can take over the rest, and I highly recommend you do that. The friend I mentioned earlier and I noticed that the red Bomberman seems to be an average player, the blue one is the intelligent one, and the green one is just insane. More often than not, he just ends up destroying himself. He just runs about all over the place. He just doesn't care. Graphically, the game is nice and colourful. It's very clear where everyone is, and it has one of the best 3D effects I've ever seen. I mean, sod Avatar, sod Gravity. Get a look at this. Now, isn't that beautiful? I mean, I would love to see this on the 3DS. Musically, there isn't much to talk about, just small tunes repeating in the background mainly. There are 8 battle stages you can have in multiplayer. They are the warehouse, which has a conveyor belt as its gimmick. You have the dungeon, which is the one we play on the most because there are no gimmicks, just blow up the walls, get to each other, nothing in your way. You got the desert, which has warp holes, which the blue Bomberman loves those warp holes. I mean, just look at this. I'm not even doing anything. I don't need to do anything now. Look, just look. You've got the city square, which has spinning gates which can only be pushed in the direction the arrow shows, and also warp holes. You've got the pyramid, which has what they call no bomb tiles, which means those little bits that have like the 9 squares on, you can't lay bombs on them, which the computer seems to get very confused by that. You've got a starship, which has warp holes and conveyor belts. You've got in the sky, which has a spinning gate, and revive blocks, which are basically walls that reappear after they've been blown up. And you also get the toy store, which just has spinning gates. Overall, I highly recommend this game. I mean, the matches can go on for a while if you set up a 5-point match, first 5 points, because if it ends in a tie, then that's it. No one gets a point, and you have to do that match again. So the computer do like to end it in a draw if it's left up to them. So these can take a while. And if you get near the timer up, the stage gets smaller, and if the time runs out completely, it's a draw. So yeah, I do recommend this game. It is a hugely fun and addictive multiplayer. It's given me and my friends a lot of laughs, and it's just something you're gonna want to keep replaying. So if you don't get this game, at least try out a Bomberman game, because I mean, the ones I've all played have all had an amazing multiplayer.